Ladies and gentlemen, mesdames et messieurs, the Montreal Canadiens were down 3-1, and now in the second round, up 3-0 against the Winnipeg Jets. And here to talk about this lead, this game tonight, Game 3 for the Montreal Canadiens, are Alex, Justin, and myself, Mackie. And together, we make the No Respect podcast. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we're coming into this game knowing that the Jets are going to be, given a little bit of a pushback. I want to get your thoughts on this game because it ends 5-1. A pretty dominant performance, head to toe. The Jets don't really show the sign of life that we expected them to. So let's get right into it. And again, a huge thank you to everybody that's been watching these podcasts / game reviews. Alex, up to you. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, what a great game tonight. Montreal up 3-0 with another game tomorrow night where they can close it out. I mean, what more can you ask for as a Habs fan? A 5-1 win when Winnipeg are in desperation mode, I mean, is a pretty strong statement by Montreal. Carey Price, again, might not have been tested as much tonight, but he did come up big a few times. And just everyone looked really good. Cole Caulfield, another 5 or 6 shots tonight. He's going to get one at some point. Nick Suzuki scoring again. And just everyone looking great. I mean, I think we're in a good spot to close it out tomorrow. I don't want to count it before it happens because we all saw what happened in round 1 to Toronto. But yeah, looking good. And let's hope for the best tomorrow.
Yes, indeed. Justin.
Yeah, I mean, just a solid all-around performance, I think. Like goaltending, defensively, and just scoring from every place. Like we got scoring from Nick Suzuki, I believe, scored on a Caulfield pass.
Assist, yes. Correct.
Exactly. And we had Corey Perry scoring, Yoel Armia scoring 2, including a shorthanded beauty. Almost a copy-paste from the Tyler Toffoli shorty from last game.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So yeah, just a great all-around performance. Everyone was kind of putting it up. Everyone seems to be buying in to the system that Dominic Ducharme and his team is putting out there. So it's great to see that it's actually working for once in this season, it seems, because the systems didn't seem to be working well, at least cohesively with everyone. So it's great to see. And we're up 3-0. This is where you want to be. Let's close it out tomorrow.
Yeah, you got to close it out. Now, if they don't, it's, we still have some wiggle room. Of course, being up 3-0, you've earned the right to have some kind of wiggle room, whereas the Jets do not have any anymore. Now, this would be a monumental collapse that the Montreal Canadiens would have to go through to not be able to close this out, but it doesn't mean that it's not possible. Like we said, we saw it down 3-1, not 3-0, so a bit different with the Maple Leafs and the Montreal Canadiens in round 1, but it's still a possibility, and I think as a mature group, and this is one thing, they're playing mature hockey right now. End of the game, Jets getting chippy, no real kind of stupidity to put ourselves in a bad situation. They responded well to that, and as a mature group that you're doing that on the ice, I would assume that you look at not only what you've gone through as a group, but what your opponents have gone through, such as the Maple Leafs, and you tell yourself, I'm going to draw from that, I'm not going to make the same mistake. So getting into tonight's game, there's a couple of things that I want to talk about. For Joshua, who wanted us to talk about the penalty kill, for me, it's a greater kind of conversation of the defense of the Montreal Canadiens that has really been, a clinic here, as Justin steps away from the camera very quickly. But Alex, I want to get your thoughts, maybe just starting off with the penalty kill and what you're seeing from this group when they're on it, because obviously a shorthanded goal by Armia, another one from Toffoli, like we mentioned last game, but just overall, they've been kind of snuffing any type of offense from the Jets here.
Yeah, what I've seen so far, I mean, the main thing, you could look at the stat line, but we're outscoring the Jets on their own power play. I believe we have 3 shorthanded goals, which is ridiculous for 3 games into a series. Armia had 2 tonight, 1 an empty net, but still, it's just incredible to watch. And the main thing I've seen is that they're basically closing down all high danger chances and leaving Price to save the point shots or shots from the sides. And there aren't really many cross seam passes going on. Like we saw end of game 1, Kyle Connor scored one late. But you haven't seen many of those plays happening on the Jets power play recently, and you can count on Carey Price to save the shots from the point if he can see them. So I think the power play is looking better than it was initially, at least in the first round against the Leafs. Doesn't feel too threatening from the Jets, who have had a really good power play all year. So if Montreal can keep this up, I mean, really great going forward. And Armia specifically has just come up huge every night in this series shorthanded. So yeah, hopefully they can keep it going. But it's been really good to watch.
Yeah, I want to, Justin, as you come back, we just talked about the penalty kill, but it's a greater conversation of just the team defense. And just to add on to your points there, it's that the other thing that I've seen is just the lanes are being so well covered. There's a collapse happening as soon as they go low, but they have the speed to come back up, like you're saying, to kind of mitigate any kind of risky shots that are coming from the point. The cross seam passes, I feel like those were such an issue for the Montreal Canadiens during the regular season, and it's just not the case anymore. Everybody is bought into this system, and it's working, and it's translated on a larger scale in terms of team defense. Because, to be honest, coming back to the Jets here, they haven't looked in this series at all. Not one single point in this series have they seemed like the Winnipeg Jets team that I think that they can be. Now, will they be it with one game potentially kind of left here? And it's a back-to-back, so they don't have much time to kind of regroup. Justin, your thoughts on what the Jets might need to do to kind of get back into this and see where they go from there?
Well, I think they're really missing Mark Scheifele, obviously. And I think what they need is those crossbars we saw tonight. If they put one of those away, they get that momentum and they get going. Because I think they're kind of team that feeds off that kind of momentum. We saw that in the first game. They got a goal and started getting going after a slow start. So yeah, I think something that the Habs been doing well is getting good starts. I think what the Winnipeg Jets they need a good start.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be tougher and tougher without Mark Scheifele, and also just to generate offense without him, and without kind of the cohesion, like you were talking about in the power play. Like without Mark Scheifele there, they don't have that one-timer option that we saw in the first game that was successful. So they kind of have to redraw the X's and O's on their power play and try and figure it out from here.
Yeah, one thing I want to say about the Jets' performance as a whole is that coming into this series, there were question marks about this Price versus Hellebuck matchup. And I think it's huge that we got to Connor Hellebuck early and kind of put that seed of doubt in them that, oh, you know what, maybe Price actually is the better goaltender. And once we get these leads, it's like, oh shit, well, we have to beat this guy this many times, and actually they can beat Hellebuck that many times. Like, can we do this, right? So like you're saying, those shots that hit the crossbar and stuff, that just gets even more and more demoralizing when you see a team beating your all-star goaltender and you can't beat the opposition's all-star goaltender. And for these scorers, these guys who I think the Jets had 3 20-goal scorers, which for a shortened season is pretty impressive. Yeah. So that gets the question marks going there, and maybe they don't try as many fancy plays. Let's say they don't create as many high quality chances, but against a goalie like Price, getting pucks to the net, how he's playing now, that doesn't work. You have to get a good, dangerous look on him, which I don't think the Jets have been doing enough of.
I mean, to come back, what the Montreal Canadiens have been doing with Connor Hellebuck, which I would expect that the Jets need to do to get back into the series, is make his life difficult. What the first goal, we've got the fourth line. This fourth line is stupid good. Like Armia, Corey Perry, and Eric Stahl just playing out there. They're just having fun. It's not even just like, it's not NHL. Like, they're not feeling any of that shit. They're literally out there with their physical fucking frame and just playing cycle hockey until something happens. And you've got 3 goals that are from that fourth line tonight. Now, obviously, there's Yoel Armia that's on the shorty and an empty net. But Corey Perry starts this game off after a great cycle play from that line that's been going all freaking series, and even starting in the first series against the Maple Leafs, they were a factor. Brendan Gallagher called this big boy hockey, and they're just playing to their strengths, which is cycle. But just very quickly, for me, the Jets need to do that with Carey Price. You got to put yourself in front of the net. Even Arturi Lekkonen's goal, there's like both him and Gallagher standing in front of the net, even though they're not like, these giants, but they're making life difficult. And then they have other looks that they're getting from, whether it be Nick Suzuki, whether it be like they're just firing on all cylinders, and the Jets need to do something. Now, I don't want you to fucking do Chris Kreider shit and get yourself in the series that way. I want you to play real hockey, because I saw them getting chippy at the end. But I would expect for the Jets to get back into this, they need to make Carey Price life difficult, but they also need some kind of unsung /star performance from one individual, whether that be Hellebuck, whether it be Blake Wheeler, Kyle Connor, Mason Appleton. I don't care. For you guys to get back into this series, that's what it's going to take. I don't know what you guys think it's going to take for the Jets to get back into it.
Yeah, I mean, they just need to score like any way they can. We've seen it with the Habs in the past. Like, it seems like I can't say that. I mean, the Habs have been good at just shutting them down, and like you said, not giving them dangerous chances. So it's been tough for their top players to really put the puck in the net, and they're not getting the garbage goal chances either, because our depth lines are just. It seems like they're better than their depth lines. So it just seems like a bad matchup at this point, because they're down some players there, and potentially the Habs as a whole at this point in the season are a better team. So it's going to be tough, but they have the kind of firepower to be able to do it. They just need to convert on those chances that they're the rare chances they're getting against the Habs.
Agreed. Alex, anything to add on that?
I think one thing I'll add, maybe the Jets defense has to tighten up as a whole, because the way they're playing, they're not going to win a high scoring affair. They're giving up so many 2-on-1s, breakaways. I think last game, Eric Stahl had 2 breakaways where he almost made it to the net, but his lack of speed couldn't quite get him there. But just these 2-on-1s, like Hellebuck made, I want to say, at least 2 or 3 saves tonight that I would say should have been in the net. So he hasn't been playing badly. It's just their defense is slow, not doing much. So I think if they try to commit too much forward to get these goals against Price, I think they might be bitten even more and given more goals than they've been letting up. So I think they just have to tighten up and try to grind out maybe a 1-0, 2-1 win, and try to ride Hellebuck a bit.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, go ahead, Justin.
Can I just say one more thing? I mean,
please. People
at the start of the playoffs, at the end of the season, when the Habs are going through some shit, we're shit-talking Marc Bergevin a lot, questioning whether or not I don't know if you guys wanted to go here, but questioning whether or not we wanted to have him next season. But you're talking about players like Corey Perry, Eric Stahl, Yoel Armia, who he acquired,
Joel Edmondson, Tyler Toffoli.
Like every player he's acquired has been, I will say, like, essential to our playoff success. And I mean, Josh Anderson hasn't been as effective. I personally believe he's maybe injured or playing with some injury right now. But even in the first game against Toronto, he was a force. So yeah, I mean, these acquisitions, he said they were made for the playoffs. This is a team that was built for the playoffs. So it's coming true. This is what we signed up for. This is what they signed up for. So it's just kudos to Burge there.
Yeah, the only thing I will say, and coming back to that moment where it was 3-1, and had we lost it, you erase everything that you just said, and people would have just been, I know.
It didn't happen.
Listen, I'm presenting the other side. Because it's a fair one than saying that, it took a while. It took to the last fucking straw for the Habs to put it together and to prove everyone wrong. And speaking about proving everyone wrong, Justin comes out with a second montage for the playoffs. That's absolute fire. If you guys want to check that out, we'll link that at the end of this video. But I guess lastly, what we want to mention is that Jeff Petrie had to leave this game. So hopefully it's nothing serious and we see him back. I know
What
that
a weird
Kulak.
fucking way to get injured too. He
Yeah,
got
the
his hand
finger
stuck
between-
in the camera hole. Like
Brutal.
what?
Brutal.
Like that's such a
Yeah.
weird play. Hopefully it's
Very
nothing
weird.
serious.
Yeah, and the other thing that I was gonna say is that I know that Alex, you weren't a big fan of Kulak's game tonight. I don't know if you think that they make the swap to finally see. And given the fact that the Habs are in this situation now, you know, I don't like to say this because when you say this, this is like, you know, we don't have it in the bag, but you are in a position where if you were to introduce a Romanov, where it's the ideal moment, I don't think there's a better moment to reintroduce somebody if you had the chance right now. If Jeff Petry's healthy, that is, do you make the swap Kulak Romanov?
I mean, the only thing, yeah, obviously Kulak's performance wasn't the best, and it might be just because of the fact that everyone else is playing so well that it's more noticeable that he wasn't playing great. Like he wasn't disastrous, just not fantastic like everyone else. So I see your argument for maybe replacing him if Petry is in the lineup. But I don't know. I still believe in that. If you won the game, just ride it out.
Don't make any changes.
Don't change anything. I do get what you're saying, that now is the time to try it. Like you do have that wiggle room, but why mess with something that's working? Like Eric Gustafsson, he's been heavily criticized, but I think he's 6-0 now since he's been in the lineup. So I mean, there's something there. Something's working.
Something is working.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough one. I get what you're saying, and yeah, like you said, I wasn't the biggest fan of his performance tonight, but he didn't cost us a win, so might as well just keep it rolling.
Yeah, I think I agree with what you said, Alex. I think the bigger question is if Jeff Petry is out, what happens? Like, because this, like Jeff Petry, he hasn't been the most like threatening offensively as he's been in the past, but he's still eating up 25 minutes a night basically. So if he's out, who you're replacing him by?
Yeah.
And that's another option. Like if he's out, then maybe Romanov comes in, maybe not to play that role, but Kulak moves up and you kind of shuffle it around. It gets a bit dicey if you're putting these kind of lower minute players in those top minute positions, and maybe we'll see the kind of Ben Sherratt and Shea Weber even taking more minutes on. So we'll see what happens, but it's gonna be interesting for sure.
Yeah, I mean, just to add on to that, I think that obviously Romanov for me would be probably at the bottom pairing, but I wouldn't be surprised if like I know Ducharme has done everything that he's done to get us to this place. They've worked something out. They've developed this system and it works. I do think that Romanov could potentially come in here and just surprise the kind of the dynamic of like being a rookie coming into the second round and surprising people. I believe he has that, and he's built for playoff hockey. He's a physical guy. Yes, it's the part that's risky is maybe his defensive lapses here and there as a rookie and somebody that's learning the NHL. But I wouldn't that'd be an interesting kind of development to see Romanov come in and see how he reacts to this situation. So hopefully it's not to the expense of Jeff Petry, who's injured. But anyways, Alex, you have one last thing before we wrap this baby up?
Yeah, just a tiny statement. If you watch Corey Perry's post-game interview, he said something that kind of stuck with me. And to paraphrase, basically they asked him, like, how does it feel now that you have the opportunity to maybe go deep again? He won the cup with Anaheim in 2007, so 14 years ago. So Perry was pretty young, starting his career. And he basically said that, like, when you're a young guy like that winning the cup, you don't think that's going to be your only win. Like, you're expecting to be back there every couple of years, back with a chance to win it. But that doesn't happen for most players. Guys like Thornton, Marlowe, for example, they've been trying for how long, right? And basically what he was saying is that, like, when you have your chance, you have to take it. Like, most guys don't win the Stanley Cup. And we have a lot of young pieces right now who are coming up big. And this could be their only shot. Like, I know we're saying they're developing well, but you never know what happens in hockey. There's always a team that's going to show up hot and maybe upset you, even when you're a contender. So I think I don't want to say this could be the year, but this could be the shot for guys like Suzuki, Kotkaniemi, Caulfield. Someone could step up, and this could be their shot to do something big. And yeah, his statement just stuck with me. Like, it passes by quick, and these guys could get 0 or maybe just one shot at the cup. So take it when it comes to you.
I was just going to say, you're not going to get a better chance than this. Like we were talking about, some people were saying at the beginning of the playoffs, like Toronto won't get a better shot than this, like an easier shot to get to the semifinals of the cup. Mm-hmm. So this is also a situation like that where you're facing maybe a less threatening opponent that you might in like the regular kind of alignment of it. So you have to take those chances when you get them, for sure.
I said this, now I still might be wrong. I said this jokingly, but what I said that if the Habs beat the Montreal Canadiens, if the Habs beat the Leafs when they were down 3-1, that this year could be our year, because the momentum that you gain for round one, being the underdog that you are and defying all odds, when you've only done that 2 other times, now 3 times because of 2021. Now it's the 3rd time. Before that was 2 in like 18. That was their record, 3-1 all time. So something very rare happened, and something rare is happening right now with the Montreal Canadiens, is that they're finding their game when the stakes are the highest. And Dominique Ducharme, we said it before, they're learning how to win as a team, and they're doing so in the playoffs. Now, I know a lot of you are going to say the North is weak, and coming into the 3rd round, it's a different ball game. You might be right, but I think that this group right now has enough experience and does have enough talent in the young guys that they can find another level. Right now against the Jets, it's not evident. We're still not done against the Jets. That's the other side of things. So we'll revisit this topic when we get there.
Watch us lose 4 in a row now.
Yeah, that's the part. That's why I'm holding back here. So we're going to talk about this again in another time. But I agree with you, Alex, because that is a statement, is that you have enough experience for a Corey Perry that's telling that to the camera. What do you fucking think he's saying to the kids in the fucking dressing room right now?
Yeah.
He's telling them the exact same thing. A couple of more swear words, a couple of more sticks in the garbage can, whatever it takes to win this series and to continue. And the biggest piece in all of this, actually I'll say 2 biggest pieces in all of this, is Carey Price, who's been a Montreal Canadian since the beginning of his career and will be until the end of it, probably. Shea Weber. Those are the 2 leaders of this team that have been here since, well, Carey Price, of course, since the beginning of his career, and Shea Weber being the captain right now. Those are the 2 guys that are leading it, and they want to win more than anything else. These guys are built for this shit. So there's no shortage of a team that doesn't recognize the opportunity that it has right now. So, Justin, I don't know if there's anything else that you wanted to add on there. I went on a little bit of a tangent there.
No,
so
you got it. Good way to end
Listen. All right, great. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, a huge shout out to Justin and his second montage. If you guys want to give a little check out to that, because it's some fire. Probably a trilogy coming up, right? Probably. We don't know yet. Don't want to say it. It's 3-0 for the Jets.
You're so close to jinxing us right now. It's just like, this is terrible.
As long as you pull back at the end, people respect it, okay? Unlike the Leafs fans, and they saw what happened. So, for Alex, for Justin, for myself, Mackie, this is the No Respect Podcast.